Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us on episode 2 of Comic Book Campaign. I'm your co-host Andrew, and I'm joined as always by my good buddy Rhett. We are doing our second episode on a series called Trees. I have the first trade paperback right here, and Trees is an Image comic, and it was written by Warren Ellis, and it was the artwork was done by Jason Howard. Why we picked Trees was because Rhett and I went to C2E2 this year for the first time for both of us. And
C2E2 Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago Comic Book Expo Convention Extraordinary. It was our first time, and it was awesome. I had such a great time. And I actually had a bunch of Cemetery Beach by Jason Howard that I got signed by him. And I actually got to talk to him. He was a super nice guy. And I didn't even know that he had also worked on Trees, and we were talking about the comic, and I said that I would love to read it, and I bought this trade paperback from him, and he signed it, and that was awesome, and that's why we decided to pick that for our second issue and episode for Comic Book Campaign. As always, Rhett and I, we did our homework. We're coming back together after we read the first trade paperback to discuss the comic, give our thoughts, and then we're going to decide if we're going to keep reading it or shelf it. So, Rhett, why don't you start us off? Give me a quick synopsis of what the story was about.
Okay. Sort of like what I did with Outcast. I was excited about the cover and the name of it. Trees. I mean, a very broad word or whatnot, and so, like the ADD person that I am, I'm like, what is it about these trees that we're going to learn? And the synopsis of it is, guess what, everybody? Trees is a plot line. However, it's not it's not the entire thing.
Yeah, we're not. It enticed you. The trees enticed you because you're thinking, I'm going to find out about these trees. And
Exactly.
did you find out about the trees?
You find out certain things about the trees.
Yeah.
So these trees are supposedly alien spaceships that have landed throughout the entire world. It starts out in Rio de Janeiro, and the trees have just arrived. And through the trees, you see these alien almost crop circle markings that are oozing what I'm going to call sap. They're oozing sap that literally floods the city, and it is like acid. It kills people.
Yeah.
On top of police killing people as well.
Yeah.
So already I'm hooked.
You're hooked. And
I'm hooked. I'm just people, just that in general.
And the story is that it's supposedly 10 years after the trees landing. That's where we pick up the story. And the comic gives me conflicting messages. Like, on one hand, it's, oh, these trees are not like non-violent. They're there. No one's supposed to think about them. But on the other hand, the trees are oozing sap that's murdering people. And so I'm like, wait, which one is it? Are we supposed to not think about the trees and just think about a little bit of the murder, or which one is it? That's what was confusing to me. So that was interesting.
But that was confusing to me also. However, out of the 6 different places that is highlighted, we have, and everybody, you're going to need a map, because these places are real that they're talking about. I have no idea where they are. The countries that they highlight is Kazakhstan, Norway, Italy,
Rio de Janeiro, yeah.
Right, exactly. And Somalia. And you only really get a sense of what the trees are significant for in 3 of those places. The first place was Rio, which we just talked about. The other place is in Norway, which is something about black poppies, which is extremely important. And then a short tree that is in Somalia. It's borderline Somalia and Puntland. That's the other place. The shortness of the tree is extremely important as well.
In that area.
In that storyline. Yeah, exactly.
So the comic is following these different places, and there's a narrative. There's people in each place that we're following throughout the comic, and the comic jumps between each place, and we're following a story for each one. And then basically the story unfolds. Gosh, even I'm like preparing, even saying this. The story is filled. It's so heavy. It's like, it's socioeconomical. It's political. It touches on sexuality. It's for a mature audience. This is not for like, oh, I'm picking this up for my 8-year-old. He's gonna read it.
Oh no, you definitely see penises. You see penises.
It's mature rated. So I didn't expect that going into the comic. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna read.
It's rated MA.
It's rated MA. So because a comic to me is something that you immerse yourself in, that you get lost in this kind of world and story. And this comic is the exact opposite. I go, oh my gosh, we're dealing with real world kind of issues with an alien twist.
Right, the alien background.
But we're dealing with all these issues of all these heavy hitting issues. So on one end, I wanted to be immersed in the story, but then I kept kind of going back to, oh, this is like some of the stuff is happening where, police brutality, transgender rights. So it brings you back into reality, and it makes you think. This comic makes you think. You're not
right. This is not like a cartoon here where you're looking at Garfield and you're laughing. It's like, this is real stuff, and they really want you to concentrate, which can make a comic good, or it could make a comic bad. Which one do we pick? We'll find out.
We'll find out at the end of the episode. So okay, give me your progression of understanding the comic from when you first started reading it to the end. Give me that progression.
That's an awesome question, actually, because my initial reaction to just the writing itself and the plot line was, what the hell is going on? And I didn't know if I was going to make it to even the halfway point of the comic. Yeah. And then everything started to make more sense. I'm going to just say more sense because I don't know if I completely understand it. However, I started to really enjoy the comic before the very end. And then the very end, there is a huge twist that almost completely obliterates everything that you have just seen and what you have read about. And I mean, I was actually turned on by that it was, I want to get into the story now. This is pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah. I felt the same way. I think there was like this level of, I'm glad we did this where we're reading the first trade paperback, because if I just would have read the first issue, I would have been like, what is this? Why am I going to continue to read this? So I'm glad we decided this forum, first of all. So I had the same thing. It's like the confusion / what's going on, the different storylines. I mean, when a comic has different storylines and I don't like one of them, but I like the other 3, I'm willing to kind of like push through. I know like the Italian mafia woman storyline. I was not into that at all. I thought it was kind of cheesy, where like that guy shows up and kind of trains her to be like a, I don't even know what exactly, and kind of she takes over this fascist kind of Italian mob.
A training day, or a Kill Bill style. It would like teacher meets student, student kills teacher sort of thing.
Right. Exactly. I didn't think about that. That makes complete sense. So that's the one that
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that. It was the whole Italian mafia thing. Yeah. I feel like that plot line, the Italians have to be just pissed off about that plot line in general.
Yeah.
It's old. It's been beaten to death.
Yeah, so it wasn't my favorite. My staple has been Walking Dead, and one of the biggest reasons I love Walking Dead was because they just like introduce characters. You think you're gonna get like really, really into them, and then like 2 pages later they're dead. So like I feel like this comic in the first trade paperback like had everything. It had like the heaviness. It had someone who you think you got attached to who doesn't have a great ending.
There's more than one person, my friend.
Yeah, there's more than one person. There's a lot of different storylines going on that I can see myself being attached to. So I think one of the things we're going to do is reading the first few issues is like, did this comic set you up to continue to read it? I feel like with Outcast, our first episode, it was too overwhelming for me. It was like, this can go everywhere. But I feel like Trees did a good job of setting up the different storylines, and I was intrigued for 75% of them. And yeah, so I enjoyed it.
It was almost like a full stuffed blackboard that you almost erased the entire blackboard and start anew, which is really interesting, I think.
So let's get into some of the things we also consider is writing and artwork. So let's talk about the writing first. We talked about the general confusion of I had to read it twice to be like, okay, did I pick up everything? What'd you think of the writing?
I don't think that we have to hit on the writing too much, because the writing is it's good. It's good, and definitely the depth of the writing intrigues you, intrigues me, whatnot.
The subject is the subject of the writing is the heavy hitter, and the writing's fine. It's just the topics are so huge that it's exhausting, but it's fine. I liked it.
Right, exactly. And I think that's all we have to say about that. I mean, the look of the writing, there's not real flashy fonts or whatnot. There's no thought bubbles or things like that. It's your new style of comic, which it makes sense. It flows.
It has some of that saga esque with the one character at the Asian setting where it's kind of like a narrative in the pages. I feel like they do that for some reason for that one, which is like the saga-esque where it's like, which I love. They do that. But yeah. So let's talk about the artwork. I met the guy, super nice. I'm super happy because I really love the artwork in the comic. So it's I'm like happy. I'm like, oh, I can go meet that guy.
And I'm actually kind of sad because I wasn't there the day that you talked to him. So, to me, the artwork by far the best thing about this comic is the way that Howard draws a landscape. I mean, they're beautiful. Yeah. It's like Norway has this vast land of ice that you can see in the artwork. You can see this, to me, seeing the sketch marks and seeing that, oh man, these are actual like sketches. This isn't computer graphic images or CGI that we call them,
The kids say.
the
What do the
kids,
kids
the
say?
cool kids, yeah. But the Norway landscape was beautiful. The Kazakhstan
Yeah.
landscape, the buildings, seeing the different buildings, the streets, the characters. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
These drawings that he's done, and bravo, Jason Howard.
So we pretty much hit on everything. I think this discussion was good because I had an idea of what I was thinking. What about you and your kind of need to find out what Trees is about? Did you feel like you got what you wanted from the first few
Oh,
issues?
no, 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 not at all. I mean, I might have mentioned this before. My OCD, ADD personality. I was so focused in on what the hell are these damn trees? What are
Yeah.
these trees about? That I think I missed like half of the
Yeah.
first part of the story.
Yeah, you're like,
I
just get
mean,
to the trees. What are these trees doing here?
right, exactly. And it's just the more I've thought about it, it's like you're having a great conversation with somebody, and then you get
Yeah.
into a fight, and you have these set things that you want to say, and you think that you're winning the fight, and then your friend goes, "Well, you're stupid," and the fight ends right then and there,
Yeah.
and you just perseverate about that for days. And it turns out that your friend was the one that beat you in the
Yeah.
fight because he just called me stupid.
It's over.
It's over. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like yeah, like how heavy the comic was. You're so enthralled with the different stories that you're like, oh yeah, and there's these trees. Yeah, going into the comic, I was thinking we would boom, just figure out what these trees are about and go. I feel like once I read it, I was totally fine with not knowing, which I think is like the main point, is that they're just in the backdrop and there's life going on and there's life.
Right.
One of the things that I was thinking about is like, are they aliens, and did these aliens place these specific trees at specific locations for specific reasons? And I think that's the one thing, and I'm like, okay, I got to find that out.
Well,
I have to figure that out.
right. If you go off of that, that's really interesting. But also, did these aliens put these trees in these locations just for people to freak out about the trees, and just the aliens are watching people destroy each other,
Yeah.
which is also a very interesting
Yeah.
plot.
So there could be a lot of possibilities of where the comic could go. And I don't think I'd
Right.
be upset or happy with one right now. It's basically like, yeah, let's see where this is going. So let's.
So I'm thinking that we
We both.
have. Oh,
Oh my God. I feel like we're going to agree.
I have the same feeling.
I have the same feeling. So, Rhett,
Right.
before we say the verdict, I just want to mention that I still have a giveaway from the first episode. So go check out our first episode where we reviewed Outcast. And there is a giveaway in there, and all you have to do is like and comment on the first video. And after that contest, we'll do another one. So,
Well, I would like to make a shout out to DC Queen. Thank you for your
yeah.
comment. And we are definitely we're going to get you in somehow.
Yeah.
You're going to be on the show. Don't worry.
Yeah, second episode. Yeah, we're like veterans now.
Right, exactly.
But I think
63 views, everybody. Thank you.
I think the goal is to do it live and tell people what we're reading like for the week, and then maybe they could come on with us and we can do kind of a YouTube live where we're commenting, we're reading comments of people and kind of having a bigger discussion. But that's the
it's
goal,
almost
I
like a
guess.
different
Yeah.
episode style, which would be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of cool. So, so yeah, definitely check out our first video where you can win that Avengers No Road Home number 5. I heard it's the first appearance of someone. You probably know. And then let's do the verdict. Let's do the verdict. Okay, so trees.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
The first half of the comic, it was a definite no. And then from then on, I'm like, it just turned complete 180, man. I'm hooked. I wanna see what's going on. Yes. Big yes. Thumbs up to me.
It's a big yes for you. And for me, I think it's almost the exact same thing where I was on the fence. I actually read it twice. The second time I read it, I was like, yeah, let's do this. I think once you get past the what are these trees about and you kind of get into the narrative of the different stories, it's a heavy read and you have to be prepared for that. And it's not just like, la, 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 let's just have a nice time. It's more of, and this is some serious topics. So I'm going to go yes. I think I'm going to keep reading it and keep enjoying it. So it's our consensus. Second episode.
Yeah, we agreed upon it. Second show in. Good.
Second show in. All right. Well, be sure to like this video and comment down below. If you read the comic, what do you think about it? Did you stop reading at a certain point, or did you like the discussion we had? And if there's something we completely missed in the comic, comment down below and let us know, and then we can go back and check it out.
I'm probably going to say this in every episode. These are our opinions. We're just trying to have fun here, and we're not experts. So you can lambaste us any way that you want or whatever. We're just telling you right now, we're not geniuses. We're just doing this for fun.
Yeah. And we have some ideas of what comics we want to do, but if you have a comic recommendation, comment down below or hit me up on Instagram. It's you remind me of 2. And I think the links are down below. So you can and Rhett has his Instagram down there too. And hit us up on Instagram if you would like us to review a specific comic. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on episode 3. Do we know?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Go ahead.
For episode 3, we're taking a little bit different direction. We're going to a graphic novel called A Study in Emerald, which the artist is Raphael Albuquerque, who is also one of the artists that featured in American Vampire, if you know that comic.
Oh. Well, sounds good. I'm looking forward to reading it, and I'm looking forward to our 3rd video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too. Any of the last parting words, Andrew?
Well, it was such a joy to be with you, and I look forward to our discussion next time.
I could kiss you.
You could.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, dude.